always an absolute pleasure to sit alongside my co-host, but today he's actually sharing his new book with us, The Sailing of the Intrepid. It was written by our very own Montel Williams, along with New York Times bestselling author David Fisher, and it's a true testament to the spirit of the USS Intrepid's crew. If you didn't know already, Montel is a 22-year veteran of the Navy and Marine Corps, which makes this book resonate deeply within his military background. Great to see you on the other side.
It's kind of interesting, kind of cool being over here with you.
Look at that, I'm interviewing Montel.
Come on now.
All right, so I've been reading a little bit of it. This is very special. This is near and dear to your heart, isn't it?
Very, very special. It's a story about a time in America where we all came together.
Which is so
and we did so much for each other, and we did so much to make sure we could preserve this democracy that we have today. What's so phenomenal about this is that a lot of people know about the Intrepid because it sits as a museum off in the Hudson in New York, and a lot of people visit it every year, but they don't really know its history. This is truly the unsinkable Molly Brown, in a sense.
And I want them to know this is a real World War II aircraft carrier.
Yes.
So big time history.
Big time. It was the fourth in its class of what's called Essex class carriers. But it was one of the biggest ships that we've ever built back in World War II at the beginning of the war. This is the fourth ship to carry the name the Intrepid, so we cover a little bit of the history of that also before we lead up to what happened to the Intrepid itself.
So what happened to it? Because I know it got hit, but then it got hit. This thing did not go down.
It did not want to go down. As a matter of fact, right as the war began, about 1944, after it was commissioned, it was transferred over to the Pacific and went into the Battle of Midway, went into the Battle of Truk. Actually, had phenomenal. They had a couple of their pilots that were aces out of that. They did a phenomenal job. But while they were exiting away from Truk at night, they got struck by a torpedo, and it got struck in their rudder, which pinned the rudder about between 16 and 45 degrees to its port side, which made it kind of just turn in circles. And no matter what the captain did to steer it, using engines, using everything they could not steer it to get away. And they were afraid that they were going to have to scuttle it because they didn't want to give it to the Japanese to sink. A couple of the really, really, really just ingenious and resilient crew members came up with this idea. What if we put a sail on the front of this big warship?
Can you imagine?
Sail. So let's go back to ancient times,
right,
of how we, steered and we propelled ships, and put it on this modern warship. They did so, and guess what? It actually gave enough buffer to allow the ship to actually be steered straight back to Hawaii. 1,200 miles. Okay, and then.
But it doesn't stop there.
That's really where we focus on, because there's a lot that went into that happening. We had a sailmaker on a ship, but they had no sails on the ship. So what did they have to do to make that sail? They basically sewed together body bags, hatch covers, whatever they could get.
Gosh.
Sewed them together, made the sail, had the ship go back to Hawaii, got refit, went up to Washington State, was completely refigured, went back in the battle. Then it gets hit by 4 total kamikazes. Are you kidding me? And it survived that. And then, of course, it survived, went through the Korean War, went through the Vietnam War, then became one of the recovery ships for our space program. And then decommissioned and made a museum. It sits up there right now in the Hudson. Anybody can go and visit it. And we're gonna have the book, of course, in the bookstore there at the Intrepid itself.
I love it because the whole story is about resiliency, camaraderie, courage, and winning.
And winning.
Yes,
no,
together.
Winning together.
Which is so important today, isn't it?
Especially at a time right now.
I know you're very passionate when you talk about, the military, you talk about veterans. Every time I talk to you, you're very passionate. I can only tell you, when I see the cover, I think of the crew and the memory of all those young men who did everything humanly possible and came through.
Hundreds died on this ship to preserve what we have now. This is my 9th book. I'm hoping that we write a 10th one, and a 10th one about the same thing, about this indomitable spirit that those who serve this country have. At a time where we, I believe, are a little rudderless, it's thinking back and learning from our past that'll give us rudder and steerage way to where we're going.
Great thoughts. Good luck to you on this book.
Thank you so
much. I know
much.
you're going to be on the Intrepid signing.
Absolutely.
What an honor.
That's going to be phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, take pictures and show me.
I certainly will. I'll be there for Fleet Week next month.
I love it.
Sure.
All right, and promise me a signed copy?
Of course I will. I'll give one to you. But if anybody else wants one, they can go to harpercollins.com or to premiercollectibles.com. And at Premier Collectibles, I've already signed a couple thousand copies, so you can call up and get a signed autographed copy right now from there. And of course, you can find it at any bookstore near you.
Great stuff.
Thank you so much.
What an honor, sir. Thank you so much. And of course, if you want more information on this amazing book, The Sailing of the Intrepid, just go to our website, thebalancingAct.com. I get a signed copy.